Hi guys, this is Claudia from Yoga Fitness. Today I'm starting a series of I will call Back to Basics. So my idea is to take one pose at a time and check the different positions into the pose and the tips, because sometimes when we do these poses during the yoga flow class, even if you give the clues and the tips during the class, you can't stop too much if you want to keep the flow of the class. So if you like to join me, it will be like a 5 minutes. We will work about the downward facing dog, so you have an idea. So then when you go to the yoga flow, you know what you are doing. Yeah. So downward facing dog is this one, I know. Yeah, hands. Yeah, just to give you an idea which one we are talking about. Okay. So this pose is one of the best poses in yoga. So if you do only this pose at its own, you will get a lot of benefits. You are stretching your spine, you are stretching your back, you are stretching your legs, you are strengthening your arms, your back. So it's a full pose for your body and for your mind as well. Yeah. So the things that we have to be aware in this position is the position of the arms first. Yeah. So we normally try to have the arms or shoulder distance apart or a little bit more open. I suggest a little bit more open at your shoulders, because in that way, when we are up, we want to keep the shoulders away from your ears. Yeah. So if you have the shoulder here, the shoulder tend to do this. So a little bit more separated from your shoulders, and checking that the shoulders are always away from your ears. We don't want to bring the head like into the body. We want to have this normal, this position nice and comfortable here, so we can work on the shoulder blades and the chest. Yeah. If you do this, because you think that you are stretching, you are actually rounding your upper back and creating the lifting of the shoulders, and that brings tension. Yeah. So when we start the downward facing dog, you put your hands, fingers nice and open. Yeah. We want to use also the weight of your body into your hands to flatten your fingers, to work on the joints, because with the normal life that we're leading now, we are all the time with the hands in close, with the phone, with the mouse, with the tablet. So we need desperately to spread this. Yeah. So hands open, shoulders away. Yeah. Okay. So we will work there. We will start always with the knees bending, and you try to work back. So you are grounding your hands. You are working back with your hips. Normally you hear this clue from the teacher: bring your solar plexus or your belly or your chest toward the thighs. That means that you bring the hips back and you let the upper body follow that. What we want in this position is to open the chest and the solar plexus. Yeah. So if you bring the shoulders up or you bring the head in, you are rounding again the upper body. So you are closing your chest, you are closing your rib cage. So you are not letting the energy in. So we need this open. And more again with the more modern life that we are living, we are all the time closing here. So we need this to open, to receive the oxygen, to receive the energy. So remember, upper body is open, shoulders are away, chest and solar plexus is open. Yeah. So we try to open this part. Okay. Now, the other part that is really important in this position are your hips. Okay. So when we do the downward facing dog, the hips, at least at the beginning of the pose, you need to have the hips out to start the movement. If you bring the hips in and you start the movement, again you are creating that rounding, so you are not open anything, and you put the lower back in a bad position. Okay. So hips are out. The difference between tilting the hips forward and hips out. So when you start the downward facing dog, bring your hips out. That will ensure that when you go to the maximum position, your spine will stray. Yeah. If you start with this in, when you stretch, you will be in this position, and it's not benefit at all. Yeah. So hands open, shoulders away. We start with the hips out. Imagine that you are in the all fours, arching your back. Yeah. So you go with the hips out. You go back, spread, open. So you try to open your chest first. You lead with your hips out. So you see, when we go back, your spine is actually straight now. Now, if I do the opposite, if I go with the hips tilting forward, you see I can move more than this. So you are closing, you are squeezing, and you are tensing your body. And it's not what we want. Okay? Now, the other important part is the legs. Normally, because we see the pictures of perfect downward facing dog, super open here and the legs extending, you feel that you have to stretch your legs, yeah, because if not, you are doing wrong. Actually, it's the opposite, okay? So depending on your body, the legs are the last part. You start from the hands going back, yeah? So you start arms, head, chest, belly, hips, right? When you are in that position, once you are sure that your upper body is open, then you check if you can release your legs down. So you go wherever is possible. Don't tense your knees even if you can. Always keep the knees a little bit soft, because if you tense the knees, you are putting the joint of the knees again in a bad position. So the kneecap is always soft. It's not pushing it back. Now the heels goes to the floor if you can. So you go with the hips and then start to expand your legs, bringing your heels down to the floor. And you check wherever you are right. That's your perfect pose. Now, I show you the difference between, let's say that you are not able to put the heels on the floor, right? But you want to put it. So what you will create is this position. And it's not what we want in the downward facing dog. You are rounding. Yeah, so you go wherever is okay, hips out, back, open your chest. The head is relaxing. It's not forcing up or it's not forcing forward. Yeah? It's in the middle. It's relaxing. Your shoulder blades are soft. Your shoulders are away. And then you bring the legs wherever is okay. So if you have to choose between extending the legs or opening your chest, you bend the legs and you open your chest. So this is better for your body, for yourself, than this. You see? This is not what you see. Well, I extend the legs. Yeah, but it's your body, your upper body is in a really bad position. And you are adding closeness, and you are adding tension, and you are adding stress. Yeah? So open the front and the legs go wherever you can. Yeah? So again, you start soft, shoulders away, hips back, 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 back. Wherever you can go, opening your chest, your shoulder blades are soft, your head is relaxing. And then you check if you can put the heels. If you can put the heels, great. If you can't, great as well. Yeah, if you can't put the heels and you are bending the legs, but you are nice and open there, you are still stretching the hamstring really good. You are still stretching your calf. And you are still creating that beautiful open that we need in the downward facing dog. Yeah. So normally we coming to the last one. Yeah. We are coming from to the downward facing dog normally, or from upward facing dog, or from all fours. Yeah. So whether we are in the all fours, you do the same. Toes, hips out, not here, out, hips, belly toward the thighs, solar plexus toward the thigh, chest toward the thighs, relaxing your head, and then relaxing your legs, wherever you can. Yeah? Now, if you are coming from the plank position or the upward facing dog position, is exactly the same. You rotate your hips out and you go back to the downward facing dog. So I'll show you from a plank. Shoulders away, Yeah, the hips are, in the plank you are rotating the hips forward. Yeah, so you are here, and then again, hips out, and you start from there, expanding, open, and you open chest, and again the legs wherever you can, here or here, but your hips are out, your chest is open, your head is relaxed. Yeah. Now, one more. If you're coming from upward facing dog, exactly the same. Rotate the hips out, boom, back. Yeah? So I show you from the upward facing dog. Next chapter will be the upward facing dog. Okay? So we go slowly, shoulders away. So you are from here, and again, toes, hips out, back, 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 back. We open, and then we put the heels on the floor. Yeah? Good. Well done. The last tip, yeah, that also is a lot of mistakes on that part. What is the separation between your hands and your feet on the downward facing dog? Because sometimes we see people bringing the hands and the feet together really close just to be able to put the legs on the floor, the heels on the floor. So ideally, because there is no ideal, everybody's different, so we have to adapt always the pose to ourselves. Yeah, so we can't keep those strict angles that you hear, the 90, the 45, depending of your hips, depending of your body. Okay, so the pose have to be adapted to you, keeping the position, of course, keeping the shape of the pose, keeping the idea of the pose, but you have to adapt it to you, not you adapt it to the pose, because that's when the injuries happen. And it's better to do the pose adapted to you, and you keep going, you keep practicing over the years, than do a perfect pose one day and then have 6 months out because you force too much. Yeah. So the hands and the feet separation is normally from a plank position. Okay, but again, that has to be adapted to you. So your position between the hands and feet will be this separation, your plank. Yeah. So when you go up to your downward facing dog, that could be your pose. For example, for me, if I go with the heel from there, my downward facing dog is a little bit too open for me to enjoy the open of the chest. So I cheat in a little bit, I bring the feet a little bit forward, a tiny bit. But don't do this. Don't bring the legs closer just to be able to put your feet. This is not a downward facing dog. Yeah? Okay? So, more or less on your plank. Remember, hips out. You lead with your hips back, expanding, opening. And then you relax your heels. Opening. You keep working on that opening of the chest, your hips back. Relaxing your head, relaxing your shoulder blades. And you can stay as much as you like in your downward facing dog, enjoying that opening. Relax. Well done. Good. So I hope I bring you some light into your downward facing dog. Yeah. You can now have those ideas when you go to your yoga flow class. You can practice a little bit your downward facing dog in your own. Even if you don't have time for a full yoga class, if you do a little bit of warming up like a child pose, nice and comfy, and then a downward facing dog, you did a lot already. Yes, so you solve your back, your lower back, your legs, and then maybe add a bridge pose, and you are done for the day. Yeah, so there is no excuse. If you don't have time 1 hour for a yoga class, you have 5 minutes to do a child pose, a downward facing dog, and a bridge. Boom. Day complete. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this tip. Next one will be the upward facing dog. That is always a tricky one, but we can always do it in a safe place, in a safe way, for not force your lower back or your shoulders. Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. See you in my next chapter. Yeah. Bye. I have to turn off this. Bye, bye, bye. Have a beautiful day. See you later.